So, I don't think we're going to go all the way until 3 o'clock, so we'll probably let you out a little early. But I wanted to go over a couple of things based on your feedback from your affinity groups. You raised some really important points about things the NAE could do, things the staff here can do just immediately to help facilitate you guys continuing your conversations and the community development that we've started here. So we do have plans to create a listserv for you so that you can communicate amongst each other by email, and we'll be in touch about that. The second thing is there was one suggestion about reconvening you all, and I'm happy to say that we already have plans in place to do a panel discussion at the Association for Practical and Professional Ethics towards the end of February, and then another panel discussion at the American Society for Engineering Education in June. And I will be presenting a little bit of a summary of what you all talked about and the key takeaway points based on the workshop summary that we'll be producing. But I really want to invite you all, if you're planning to attend either of these meetings, to let me know and to join and participate in the discussion. This is an opportunity for us to continue the conversation amongst us, but also to expand it and include others who were unable to join us at this workshop. So I'll email out those dates, and please let me know if you're interested. Let's see. The next piece here is that you guys were asking about an online space to share resources, and happy to say it exists. This is the Online Ethics Center for Engineering and Science. It has a pretty long history, but about 3 years ago was funded by NSF to expand from its original focus on engineering and research ethics to include engineering, research, and science ethics. And we, as part of that, totally redesigned the site and have been categorizing our resources in various ways. So Simo, if you would scroll, or that, yes. So we categorize our resources by types of materials, and one thing I will highlight is that you all saw the Infusing Ethics report of exemplars. All of those exemplars are on the site under, I think it's educational activities there, right at the top. And you guys have presented plans on your posters, and as those develop and you find that things are working, we encourage you to send us information. We can put up descriptions of the activity, the program you developed, how you infused something in, and then this can be shared with others. You can send us a suite of materials, something that includes a description of the activity, plus a bibliography, plus a syllabus, plus some case studies that you use in the activity. Whatever it is, we can put all of those things up and connect them together. The other thing I'll draw your attention to is the subject aids piece. And this is an in-progress activity that some of the staff for the project have been putting together with guidance from editorial board leaders and other experts that basically create it's sort of like a bibliography, but it begins to introduce someone to a specific subject in ethics and science and engineering. So one of the big goals of the advisory group for this project was to create resources that allow those who are less experienced teaching ethics to get them in the door and started and going. So many of you are very experienced in teaching this. You've tried lots of things, you've figured out what works, and that's great. And but we also know that there are people out there that we need to continue to expand. We need to get the statics teacher comfortable with ethics. So it includes resources, overviews at the beginning, definitions, and then a couple of documents about policy and guidance that exist so that you can work your way through and get a quick overview. The OEC also has a community, which many of you, I believe, in this room are already members of the OEC. But you can now join the OEC, and we encourage you to do that. It's just a brief profile that gives information about you, why you're interested in ethics, and allows you to become a member of this community that's working in this area. So as you share resources, people can see the resources you shared and then connect with you, send you an email and say, I'm interested in how you did this, how did that work, and so forth. So that's there. And we anticipate that by February, we will have the ability for you to add announcements to the community feed, which is sort of like a Facebook feed, but you can add reminders about calls that you know of. You can add announcements about conferences, such as you all mentioned here. And so this is a community that's obviously bigger than those of you in the room, but we think is probably a great place for you to be sharing these things, because there's many more people out there that want to know about what you guys are talking about. So, I guess I'll show you just at the top. Yeah, there's topics. That's one other way we categorize things, and the subject aids are based on those sort of main topic areas. So you can see the subcategories. It's a little small, but I encourage you to check it out later. And then fields is another way we organize things. And that's based on sort of disciplinary areas, but then we also have research ethics and international perspectives. And when you search for a resource on the OEC, you can combine them all. So you can say, I want something about engineering ethics, I want it to involve social justice, and I want it to be a case study. I don't actually know how much gets pulled up when you do that, but you can combine those things. And when you find there's a hole, that's where we want you to step in and say, wow, gee, I guess I need to work on that. So it's in progress, but we welcome your feedback on how it works, as well as what's missing, what you have that you think could benefit the rest of the community. So that's the OEC. Then a couple of more business announcements. First, we really want to follow up with you all about how your plans go and how you found this workshop to help you. And so we will be sending out an email, short evaluation by email, I think tomorrow, and it should be coming from Beth Katie at the NAE. She's been at the front desk. You've probably seen her. And then we will also be following up in a couple months, 6 months or so, with another survey very similar to just see how things progressed with your plans after the semester started and things got busy. So that's that. The NAE also has a publication called The Bridge, and I'm pleased to say that the spring issue that's coming out shortly is focused on engineering ethics. So once we get the listserv for you all set up, we will be sure to send you a link to that. Jerry Galloway, our chair, has been co-editor of that issue with Deborah Johnson from the University of Virginia. So, and then lastly, for those of you heading out to the airport soon, there's a taxi stand outside on that side of the building, across from the State Department, so you can catch taxis there. And then finally, I want to thank you all. This was really a wonderful workshop. You guys engaged greatly, so I want to thank you as attendees. I want to thank the panelists who really brought such expertise to the table and engaged with you all very willingly in formal and informal settings. And I want to thank Rochelle and the C's advisory group members for their excellent guidance in crafting this workshop. It was very much a team effort in creating this. And lastly, my fellow NAE staff members, Carl and Beth and Simmel and Sherry in the back. So thank you all very much. And comments, yes?
I'd like to make one last comment. I've been very impressed by what you've been doing and what we've seen. I would suggest that when you go back to your campus, if you're on a campus, if you're in the academic world, that you put together some sort of a note that you can send to the administrators that are dealing with you, whether it's the department chair or it's the dean or all of them, and tell them what this was about. Because the one word we haven't heard very often is the people that are responsible for running the departments, the people that are responsible for dealing with some of these real challenges that we're we're talking about. And they've got to be part of it. Your campus has to have deans and department chairs and provosts that care about this. So one way to let them know what NAE is doing for you and what you're doing for the university is to let them know by some sort of a memo that you attended this and what you got out of it and what you think might be useful on your campus. But we certainly thank you for your efforts in this regard.
Could we also thank Fraser and all the
Yes.